My name is Thomas Addison. I work for Agro-K, foliar and soil nutrition solutions for you guys. Agro-K has been around since 1976, and pretty much everything that we do revolves around this right here. So the 5 R's of plant nutrition. You've got right nutrient, right time, right form, right mix, and right place. So today, what I want to talk about a little bit is kind of how we fulfill that and what we look at when it comes to specifically right mix and right form. So from an approach of looking at this, tissue sampling, soil sampling, crop sampling, and sap analysis. We want to take as much information as we can in before we go out to the field and make a decision on what we're going to apply. So Agro-K's tagline is science-driven nutrition, and we try to live by that as far as how we make our recommendations when it comes to specific types of nutrition and then timings of the nutrition. So this is something that I want you to take in. You don't necessarily need to pay attention to all this small stuff over here. The main takeaway from this chart is it is ranking 1 through 4, the different forms of nutritional supplements that you can apply. So you've got simple salts, chelates, complexes, and then phosphites. So as far as we're concerned, phosphites are one of the best ways to get the micronutrient into the plant that you are actually trying to target. If you are going out and applying something like a cal nitrate or a sulfate form or something along those lines foliarly, you're getting that into the plant, but it's not really the most effective way to transfer nutrients throughout the plant. So if you're specifically targeting a nutrient that is something like calcium or iron or boron, and you're trying to get that moved throughout the entire plant, those nutrients are really limited to no flow in the xylem. When you talk about phosphites, phosphites are going to flow up and down the plant through the xylem of the plant. So fully xylem and phloem mobile. So if you're going out there and you're applying a phosphite, I would imagine that you're probably not doing it for the potassium. It's probably a potassium phosphite, and most likely you're not trying to supplement potassium. You're probably trying to get the effects of that phosphite, which SAR induction, root flush, and micronutrient attachment is really the benefits that you're going to get out of that phosphite. So if you're not going after a potassium, and you're just using it for the phosphite form, the phosphite being incredibly systemic and actually being able to complex and attach nutrients like calcium or zinc or manganese or molybdenum or however that looks for you is going to give you the most bang for your buck when you're trying to foliar apply your nutrients. You can get your entire nutrient load for zinc and manganese and molybdenum through a foliar application. But if you're going out there and applying something like a zinc sulfate foliarly, you're not making the most out of that application because that zinc sulfate is not going to move that zinc through the xylem down into areas like in the roots where you really need it. So this is a graphic that kind of illustrates how and why phosphites are so systemic and why they do what they do. Phosphite is almost the same as glyphosate, except instead of attaching death and destruction, we attach calcium, boron, iron, manganese, whatever you may be looking for. So this is a really good example of understanding the systemic nature of the phosphites themselves. Here you can tell where we would attach a calcium ion over here to the bottom side of the phosphite versus something like a potassium phosphite. Again, if you're going out with a phosphite, you're probably not trying to supplement potassium. You're probably trying to go after the benefits of the phosphite. So let's attach something there that the plant actually needs, that you're trying to target, that you can get throughout the entire plant, not just focused on the leaves or focused on blooms or anywhere else. So these are a few of the different ones that we have to offer that I think specifically would work really well for citrus growers. System Cal, so anything that says system in it as far as an Agro-K standpoint is going to be a phosphite product. System Cal, calcium phosphite, manganese, System Ready, which is a zinc and manganese combination. Leaf Max is a nutritional package, so it's got 5 or 6 different nutritionals in it, and you'll be able to see that at the end. and then System Advance, which is another nutritional package. So 3 things that I think citrus growers can get a lot of benefit out of are zinc, manganese, and molybdenum. Like I said, you can get all 3 of these in a foliar application over the course of a season, the total amount that you need for the whole year. So let's talk about zinc first. This is why using a phosphite form of zinc is so beneficial, because zinc is incredibly important for root tip development. If you don't have enough zinc, you're not going to develop proper root tips. What is exclusively uptaken via the root tips, unless it's a foliar applied, is your calcium. So if you don't have root tips, you don't have good calcium uptake. Zinc is incredibly important for your calcium uptake. If you apply something foliarly, like a zinc sulfate or something along those lines, or another form of zinc besides a phosphite, yes, you'll get the benefits out of it for the top of the plant, but here really, if you send it down to the root like you would with a phosphite application through the xylem all the way to the bottom, you're going to be able to make the most out of your calcium program as well. So when you're thinking about these applications, obviously you want to make the most out of every spray that you possibly can. And if you can do this and you can get it all the way down to the roots and you can grow those root tips, then you're making the most out of the rest of your program as well. So molybdenum and manganese, both of these are really important for your nitrogen use efficiency. Molybdenum specifically is important for nitrogen assimilation, and manganese is important for nitrogen utilization. You can see in the graphic that in order for nitrogen assimilation, you have to have molybdenum in order to create the nitrate, which goes into, or in order to switch it from a nitrate to ammonium. Plants will not use nitrogen in the nitrate form. They will uptake it in the nitrate form, which is why you get such good results out of like calcium, I'm going blank, either way. Why you get such results, cal nitrate. Sorry, nervous, I apologize. Why you get such good results out of cal nitrate, you get that quick green up because that nitrate is basically forced into the plant. Well, if you're going to force it into the plant, you need to be able to convert it to the ammonium form so the plant can actually use it. So that's why it's important to have your molybdenum in the system, sufficient levels. Anytime that you're planning on making an application of a nitrate product like that, take into consideration your molybdenum levels. Manganese. So in order for that nitrogen to go from the ammonium form to actually be used, it has to go through nitrogen utilization, and manganese is really important for that. So again, anytime you're planning on making an application in the nitrate form, in order to get the most out of it, you want to make sure that you have plenty of molybdenum and manganese in the system, and you can do all that foliarly. And if you can do it foliarly, the phosphite is going to move that throughout the entire plant, leaves, roots, shoots, all of it, the whole 9 yards. So these are some options that Agro-K offers from a foliar phosphite standpoint. We've got System Ready, which is a zinc-manganese mix. We've got manganese and zinc by themselves. We've also got a moly-zinc mix. And then the two on this side are Flow DL products. These are a half rate of phosphoric acid and a half rate of our simple sugar dextrolac formulation. So with the DL products, you're going to get the uptake and penetration that you would get out of a phosphite, but not necessarily as much of the phos acid load, so you're not necessarily going to induce the SAR response that you would out of a full phos acid load that you would get out of any of the system line products. But you will get the uptake, you will get the translocation throughout the entire plant, xylem and phloem mobile, all the way into the roots. So overall, takeaways from this: whenever we're trying to figure out what to do, we want to use what we can to make the most money that we possibly can, the most bang for our buck. And we feel really strongly that if you're going to do that, if you've already got a phosphite in your program and you're already using it, potassium is probably not what you're trying to achieve from that. You're probably trying to achieve the phosphite benefits out of that. And if you're doing that, going out at the proper timing with your different micronutrients that you potentially need, zinc, manganese, molybdenum, specifically talking about today, you're going to get more out of those applications by using a phosphite to move that micronutrient into the plant. So this is our full line of System Series and the different micronutrient packages that we offer with that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me. So.